I'm sure you can totally hear Finn drinking water. I guess I'll wait. Hello guys, welcome to my new reading vlog. We are moving on in life. It's great. Things are good. The tax season has ended. Orilium is like 2 weeks in, so we've got like 2 weeks left. A week and some change left. I think it is currently Wednesday. I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I'll be listening to audiobooks. And this, I've decided, silly. I don't know how to make that work. Anywho, still trying. I've decided, as a silly pick, to make this my Sonics and Divinations class pick, which she's chunky. I don't know if I'm going to finish her in time. I'm going to give myself grace because this is a chunky, thick book. And it's not like the smallest of fonts, but it's not the biggest of fonts. Oh, it's not too bad. No, it's pretty big. Anywho, I'm going to read this without an audiobook. All too many pages of this book. 650 pages. I can do it. But the fun of the psionic and divination class is that we have to make a bingo board to go with this. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to think of things, and then we're going to put it on a little sticky note. Also, I have my little questing bookmark. Very cute. So now I've got just a black sticky note, a green pen because there's like a little bit of green, and I think it looks cute. But I feel like a 3x3 tic-tac-toe kind of board might actually give me a chance. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't have a lot of theories. I don't usually go into my books theorizing what's going to happen in them. So it's a 5x4. And we're just going to pick a spot to be a crown. And that's my free space. Free. Here's how we're looking. Goodness grief me. Beauty guru. Okay, so that's how we're looking currently. This is chaos. Pure chaos to start the day. It's 9:30 at night. Pure chaos to start the evening before I go to bed. Okay, what am I predicting? I predict that her brother is dead. I don't remember his name. It was something really dumb though. Dead bro. I think she is going to have master of her powers, but also be like the best damn fighter ever. And just so we're clear going into this, I have knowledge of the 2 novellas for both characters. So I've read The Sword and the Scepter before going into this. I've read The Scepter twice, so I kind of am familiar what to expect. I already know that this is true enemies to lovers, so I don't actually know if there's going to be any romance in this particular book. And also the release date for the sequel got pushed, which I'm still upset about. Now it's May instead of April, which is like not nice. So with that said, other predictions. I think he's going to give her a nickname because of course. And I think there's going to be an instant attraction. They're instantly going to be like, ooh. I should say on her side, because I don't think he's going to like her. I don't know. I think he's going to think she's pretty. What else do I think might happen in this book? I'm hoping for a training montage because I love a training montage. I think she's going to be in harm's way, and I think he might have like, I don't know. I feel like it's too soon in the series because it's going to be so enemies to lovers that I'm scared that like touch her and you die won't be a thing in this one because like he hates her. He's like so not into her. I think they're gonna talk to the seer. I have so many spaces still. Like what else do I think is gonna happen in this little book? Like I don't know. I think she's gonna be friends with one of his friends. One of the 2 cousins. Friendly. I'm gonna say there's going to be an assassination attempt on either of them, but likely probably her. So her whole thing is like she was a witch of the forest. And in The Sword, like many years later, we are kind of getting glimpses of how the forest has been reacting to the events. I think that it's going to take more than 50% of the book or longer if at all, for us to go back to the forest. She's gonna make a friend. I'm thinking it's gonna be a cousin or something. I don't know. I feel like she's gonna be pretty isolated, but she might have like a friend or two. I don't obviously get into like spoilery things because I don't want to spoil the book, obviously. So I'm trying to keep it like surface level stuff while still like fun, but I still need 7 more squares. Goodness grief. I should have gone with a smaller board. What else? I think there will be a bath scene. I don't know why. Probably because I've read a lot of books recently. I've been on quite the romantasy journey this month, and so like maybe there will be a bath scene because that's been common in my books, and I've maybe been enjoying it a little bit. I don't know. Killing people's inevitable. Like, people are gonna die. Should I have like a kill count? Like, I think there's gonna be X amount of deaths. I feel like it's gonna be a lot, but like also probably not that much. So like, yeah, let's say there's gonna be 10 deaths. That feels maybe astronomically low. I think the uncle is a red herring. I need 3 more things. I think that she's gonna have a weird quirk. She was super sheltered, so I think she's also going to learn a lot about the world around her. So like, I think she's gonna change his mind more than anything. So sure, his views will change, which would, make sense, seeing as this at some point is supposed to be a romance. I need 1 more square. I think we'll get 1 smooch. That's it. 1 smooch. That's not gonna fit. 1 smooch. I just want 1 smooch. That's it. So, in the end, here is my tiny little bingo board for the crown of oaths and curses. So, this beast of a book, 650 pages. I've got a little bingo board for it, and we're gonna check in. Either halfway, I'll tell you how it's going, or like at the very end, I'll tell you how it goes, but either way, we're gonna get started. We're gonna find out. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time, and I'm gonna nail this. And if I nail this, which I will, I think that I deserve to buy a book. So the bingo will work in 4s. So if I get it across, if I go down, and then I have 2 chances, I guess 4 chances at diagonals, because it's weird, and that's just how it is. So that's my little bingo board in my book, and now I can finally get started reading. This took a little too long. "50 pages. Oh, I'm obsessed. I'm in love. I'm so happy. I have made it 156 pages. As we know, I'm a slow physical reader. What can I say? This is so high fantasy that it's just been like, the first 50 to 75 pages were very like, learn about the world, understand the politics, understand the worlds, and like the different lands, the northern versus the southern, and like all that's going on with like the war and everything. There's so much to learn, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking this. It's so enemies to lovers that I'm like obsessed, but because it's so long and I'm only 150 pages in, it's like, okay, the repetition gets a little bit annoying. Like, nothing has really happened, and so when we have the prince Soren just like, hate witches so bad, the fates hate me, everything's doomed, the curse will never break, blah blah blah, she's bad. And I'm just like, ugh. Try to have a conversation with her. Like, it's repetitive, but like, that's also kind of the point. Like, he's meant to be this prince who has so many prejudices against witches because of this war, and it's like, valid, king, you're so fair in how you feel, but at the same time, she's good, and I love her so much. Like, she's this wonderful little witch, and she's so magical, and she's gonna save the kingdom, and it's gonna be great. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. I do wish that I could like just read faster, but that's just a me problem. There's times where I'm like, it's very easy to be sucked in and just like read and not look at the pages and not worry about like, am I reading fast enough? Am I comprehending? Like, it's fun and easy to read in the way of like, I'm not getting distracted by a million other things. It's very much just I can read and fall into the world and enjoy my progress. So like, I don't think about it until I step away and I go, oh, I'm only 150 pages. I wish I was further, but like, not I wish I was further because I wanted to end, but like, it just reminds me how slow I am, but like in a good way where I'm just like, I'm having a good time. So I'm on chapter 9. She's about to meet the king. I'm excited. So that's my little reading update. I guess I will tell you now. I'm hoping to finish this tonight / tomorrow morning, which maybe, probably not, because I'm, again, a slow reader, and this is still a lot of pages to go. 500 pages to go, which is a lot. But I would love to be able to finish this tonight or early tomorrow morning, because I'm starting my 48-hour, 24-hour readathon. It's really like 48, because I really started reading this at like 5. But if I can't finish this before then, I'm just going to read other things and prioritize those instead of this. And then I will also, at some point, separate from this, I will update you on the 3 books. 2 books that I finished at work and the 3rd one that I'm almost finished with. So that's my little update. I finished it. I binged this book, and I'm so sorry that I didn't talk to you guys. I had full intentions, like when I went to bed at 2:30 in the morning, like once I got a little bit after part 2, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm fully gonna go to bed, and I will talk with them tomorrow about it. But then I got up the next day, and I genuinely just wanted to read. Like, I have missed the feeling of not wanting to put a book down, of staying up super late, of wanting to keep picking it up instead of doing something else. Like, this book had me in a chokehold. Even though I was frustrated and rolling my eyes and just wanting to grab Soren by the shoulders and just shake him and be like, bro, so good. So, as you can see by my bingo, I was not fully correct in things, but I was correct in quite a few of them. The things that I did get correct were just like, she's really good at her magic, and they're all like super fighters, and no stakes are high. They're not, because everyone's gonna be fine. Certainly attracted to each other, and God, it was just so good. We saw the Goblin King, score for me. We did not get a bath scene, which it was talked about. It was alluded to, if you will, from the bath scene from one of the novellas, but unfortunately not in this one. I mean, there was a bath scene, but it's not really what I was thinking when I said bath scene. Like, yes, she did get bathed once, but it wasn't quite what I was thinking, so I'm not going to count it. Even though if I did, I would get another bingo. But yeah, it was a lot of people died. The allyship of it all kind of worked out. The friends and stuff I kind of figured out. So overall, pretty pleased with myself. The book that I will be buying at some point is going to be the sequel. This is following our main girl, Rook, and our main guy, Soren, who is the prince. She is a witch, and the witches are currently at war with the Fae, specifically High Fae, and have just like been in war for hundreds of years. The land is dying in the southern lands. It's not looking good. And basically the book starts off with her coming back from the northern lands, which she escaped to about 200 years prior to the books, and she ran away after getting her fate. The fate is basically a prophecy. This is a prophecy, fantasy, everything lines up based off what the seers have told them, and the seers told them that they are fated mates. They are meant to be, and with their union will come the good of the land. The land will flourish again, and the High Fae will continue living well, basically. And so it's not, I'm not giving the world's like best description, but if you have ever wanted to read enemies to lovers, what if I just grab you like this? Anywho, if you've ever wanted to read enemies to lovers, like this is the book for you. Do be warned going into it that there is a birthing scene and there is a baby in the book. So like it is prominent. So if you don't like babies in your stories and you don't like birthing scenes, there's a chapter you might want to skip. But that is something that does happen in here. You're so cute. But that is something that happens in here. But if you're like, yeah, give me enemies to lovers, give me prejudice, give me just the worst type of chance at love, this is so good. And I loved Rook, all of her chapters. I adored all of them. I really liked her personality and just how stoic she was and so grounded in herself and her motives. She never swayed from who she was and what she believed in, which I really appreciated. And it was so good. And her gardening, I just loved everything about her. All of her chapters were the best. Soren, on the other hand, is such a good character to hate because he's not invalid in how he feels. Like, he's not wrong for what he thinks, but how he goes about it is really annoying. And just how close-minded he is frustrating to see. But again, isn't wrong. And so like it's a very hard line of like, I'm frustrated with you, you're annoying me, I'm rolling my eyes at your thoughts, and like I know clearly more than he does, and so it's just frustrating. But like he's not wrong, and it makes him a good character because he's also very strong-headed and just very confident with his opinions and feelings towards the situation, and like his top priority is saving his kingdom and the people within it, whereas he's got this conflicting problem of like his fated mate is his enemy, the witch. So yeah, it's really good. It was really good. As a slow reader who spent probably a full like 24 hours or something reading this, like staying up till 2:30 one night and then 1:30 the next night just to finish this and reading it the entire day. I am a slow reader, but I devoured every second and I enjoyed it. It is very repetitive and redundant in the beginning. Like the first 100 to 200 pages, I was like, I get it. Each time we switched POVs, like they would re-explain everything, and I'm like, I get it. I can keep up. I know. And I think also a lot of that is just like because I was just binging this so quickly back to back, like I picked up on it a little bit more than maybe if I had waited a few days in between. It wouldn't have been so blaringly obvious how repetitive it was. So could have used an editor. I found a couple of mistakes. I don't know like if this print is like the final or if there's like more edits that have happened since it came out. I'm not sure. My nose is so itchy with all this cat hair. So yeah, I'm giving it 4.5 stars just because the beginning was a little hard to get into and I was struggling a little bit, and that's it. It was too long. It did not need to be this long, but I still enjoyed it a lot. I really like this. So I'm gonna save my little bingo purchase for when the second book comes out next month, and I will probably read that very soon, very quickly. I'm very excited for it. So yes, that is my quick little review of this beast of a book. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the side characters. It was fun making a prediction bingo and then like getting some of the things right and like keeping an eye on it made me engaged and pay attention to things. It was fun. So that's my read. It was good. I think just today, which I've got plenty of time still, I'm gonna knock Sanctuaries of the Shadow out finally. I know I talk about this all the time because I've been meaning to get to it for so long because I've genuinely put the hold off for months. So I'm gonna finish this because my hold expires tomorrow and I would like to get it done and not continue my never-ending hold cycles. Which, you know, it's a sad sign because like nobody seems to be wanting this from the library in which I have it from. But yeah, this is the Red Tower first edition. It's a circus, that's why I have it and I'm excited. If I hate this, which is, you know, possible, but if I don't hate it, great. Red Tower is very, you know, so if I hate it, I will probably cancel my other pre-orders from Red Tower and just not pick up so many and just really keep an eye on things. But I also want to hold out hope and hope that I like it, at least for the circus vibes, which I'm really into. So we will see, but I will let you know more about this once I start reading. So, I have finally started Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aura Asher. It's part of a series, which I'm a little hesitant. Come for the show, stay for the magic, learn your fortune, pay the price. None of those things really have given the vibes of what this is. I've made it 100 pages, 4th in. The font is huge, the margin's big, so it's a very quick read. Like, it feels like it's going by very fast. We've been introduced to the characters, so there is this circus whose ringmaster is Salazar, the most villainy of names. And Salazar is an elemental, and so is everybody else in the circus. It's a circus of elementals except for these 2 humans, but quickly we learn that there's just 1 human. And we are following Harrow. And Harrow has been pretending to be human for so long, but is actually part elemental or is an elemental. I'm not really sure what elemental means, because some of them just have like pointy ears like they're elves. Some of them have like cat-like features. So I'm not really sure where, like, what the magic system is fully, but that's what we know, is that Harrow is not only an elemental of water, which is rare, and she's also a seer, which the seers, we learn, were all murdered by wraiths at some point in history. And she's like the sole survivor, and she's been hiding her identity from everybody, but she's also the fortune teller for the circus and has to be careful of like what truths she tells versus like what she fully sees. And so that is our setup. And then we also meet this man, and he is picked up in like the desert naked with no memory of himself, his life. He's experiencing human emotions for the first time. He's like, I feel humiliated, but this is so new to me. I don't understand. And Salazar buys him in the belief that he is a wraith and is like, I'm going to use you as an attraction for the circus and get some money off of you, and then basically like sell you to the queen and or kill him. And he's decided his name is Wraith, but without the W, because the human in the circus can't spell. Yeah, so that's the crew. And very quickly, again, I've only read 100 pages, very quickly, Harrow has this dream. She's a seer, so she has dreams and sees things and has to figure out what they mean. And she walks into Salazar's tent and sees Wraith sitting in a cage, and they have like an instant connection. And she has now decided to take it upon herself to spend a week trying to plan his and her escape from the circus so that Salazar can't harm them and or kill them. And it's happening very fast. There's very little personality to these characters. There's no reason for her to have this strong connection to this being, besides like, ooh, it's because of my seer abilities, but like her seer abilities also don't tell her why she wants to do this. She just thinks that he's important and that he needs to be saved. So fine. And that's the whole book so far, is just like setting up this runaway from the circus and the characters set up. And I'm not getting a lot of the circus vibes. There's definitely a lot of like prejudice against elementals. There was this war with like the queens or something. The queens used to have a lot of noble like elementals in their castles or kingdoms or whatever, and they were beloved. and then wars happen, and somebody created a bunch of fire elementals, a lot of destruction happened, and now elementals are like seen as bad. And so now there's a circus of elementals that people go and pay to see as kind of like a novelty, very of circus times, of like the freak shows, of having just different types of people on display to get money. That's kind of what's going on here. But they're elementals, so it's different. Yeah, I have no thoughts about this. I have no feelings towards this. I'm not getting strong circus vibes, which I was excited about. I don't really care about any of these characters, what's going on in this world, what the magic system is. Like, it's not been explained, and I just don't care. Like, if her and Wraith escape or not, I don't really care. The consequences, I don't matter to me. The stakes so far have not felt high, and so I'm just kind of here for the ride. Like, there's nothing drawing me into the story besides the fact that, like, it's a quick read. I'm also exhausted because I stayed up super late, so I'm gonna hopefully finish this, but I'm not gonna finish it late into the night, but it shouldn't take me too long. But yeah, there's no emotions, there's no care, there's no feeling. Wraith is a sweetheart, even though he might be like this evil being that definitely murdered a bunch of people. We're still unsure, but so far, just a sweet guy that barely talks and knows nothing, literally. So it's kind of weird. It's like he is a grown man, but also like his lack of knowledge of the world and what being like the human experience is, he feels very childlike innocence, and so it feels a little weird that like it's not quite insta love because they're not dating or anything, but also it's not insta love. It's strange, but also like because of how his character has been developed so far, like there's nothing to him except for like no memories of his past, and thinking that he might have massacred her whole like family of seers, but might have not, who knows, and that he's never had a cookie before, so she shares cookies and he has a thing for sweet. Like, it's weird. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep reading. I will check in later. Hopefully I will have more thoughts about the actual story. The writing is fine. It's nothing special. It's very plain. Just telling you what's happening. Red Tower is not known for its good writing, typically, and also its poor editing. So we'll see how this one holds up to the other Red Towers that I've read and or have heard a lot about. So yes, that's where we're at. I take it back. Like 10 pages later, they're kissing, which I feel no connection between them. There's no chemistry. It's happening so fast. Kind of let down. Kind of a bummer. Well, hello. This was bad. I'm excited to put this very pretty book on my shelf and not think about it again until I have to make my like worst of the year books. I'm gonna give it 2 stars because the smut was good, but it was such a bad book just overall. Everything about it was disappointing in every way possible. The writing style itself was bad. The writing was bad. The characters were bad. The plot was non-existent. This was so fast-paced. We're head-hopping constantly. There's no like proper POV. It would just like switch mid-chapter and be like, and now we're with this character and things are happening with them, and then like, god, it went so fast. It was like it was so bad. It would just go so fast through the plot, and then terrible writing, no real like understanding of these characters and their motives. Again, because of Wraith's situation, it just made me really uncomfortable with him having no memories, having no concept of like being human, and then just like very well written and very detailed smut scenes that I didn't enjoy because there was no connection between these characters. If you want to write smut or read smut just for the hell of it and like live your best life, but that's just not who I am. And so this book just upset me and frustrated me in so many ways because the world building was confusing and boring. The plot had like zero stakes. Nothing was a concern. Everything happened so fast. This is going to be a series, but the next book will follow a different character. So like it wraps up so quickly, but like it was horribly done. It was just very bad. I felt rage. This book like made me mad. I've sat with it for a few hours now, so I'm like ready to be done with it and not care about it and think about it ever again. But it was just very disappointing. I think this will be like the end of me and Red Tower. I don't think I trust Red Tower anymore. I just don't think they're not doing a good job as an imprint. But yeah, either way, I'm sure that I had more to say about this, but I'm honestly just exhausted, and why should I waste more of my breath on this very bad book? I do not recommend. There's nothing in this book that I say is worth it. It is promising a circus. You're there for maybe 15-20% of the book, and you're not really getting a circus. You're getting a couple of tents and like a kidnapping. Like it's not circusy at all. It's not the Avatar, which apparently was a comp title, which is just bad marketing. Everything about this was horrid. So yeah. Ugh. But I read it. I finished it before my audiobook was due. This sucks. Ugh. Also, on top of just like, I've been reading so much. It's been a little bit ridiculous, but I've actually finished a couple of books that I haven't told you about just yet, and I'm going to tell you about two right now. Mainly just the one though, because it was the first book in a sequel, but I have the same overall feelings towards the sequels I do the first book, and there's like 8 books in the series. But I read The Utterly Uninteresting and Unadventurous Tales of Fred the Vampire Accountant by, is it Drew Hayes? And then I also finished On Death and Taxes, which is comical that I read these just after tax season ended. Like, I am in the industry, so it's fun. But this is about Fred, who is a semi-new vampire, also a CPA and accountant, and basically his journey reconnecting with an old friend from high school who he hasn't seen in a while. And he kind of meets up with her, and, you know, incidents happen at this event, this public place, and secrets are revealed, and she's like, I know you're a vampire. And he's like, how do you know that? How could you possibly have figured that out? I'm so good at hiding it. And turns out that she is an agent in like this, I don't really know exactly what it is, but she's human and in this agency protecting like the supernatural from humans or vice versa, and just is very involved in the supernatural community. There's so many things. There's haunted houses, there's dragons, there's vampires, there's werewolves, there's zombies. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself serious. It is very funny and satirical and just humorous, and I've chuckled a few times, and it's fun. And so they start dating, and he kind of gets pulled into her world. And the way that I feel like these books are done, like about 9 chapters, maybe 8 hours long, like they're pretty short. And what I like about them is it feels episodic. Like it's a sitcom, and you sit down and you watch 4 episodes. And like that's how it feels. And they're just funny and bizarre and kooky and wacky. He ends up with a zombie assistant and stuff. Like it's fun. And I've been really enjoying them. It's also fun because they'll like talk about tax stuff, and I'm like, hey, I kind of get this. But it's enjoyable, and I'm just having fun with them just as a background audiobook. I care about the characters enough that I want to continue in the series. I feel the first one was better than the second, just because I felt the first had a little bit more charm as I was getting to know the characters and stuff. But overall, I've given them 3.5 and 3 stars. They've been fun. I'm going to continue for now. But yeah, that's my little check-in for that. I started today Games for Dead Girls by Jen Whitfield, something like that. And I'm pretty bored and uninterested in it, so I'll check in tomorrow about those thoughts later. Hello, how do we do? It is Wednesday, which is my day off, which is exciting for me, especially because it's apparently they call them public holidays in Australia. So it's a holiday there Thursday. And they're starting 6:30 their time, a 24-hour readathon, because again, holiday. And that's what we do on holidays in the book community. And so I decided, since I have the day off, I would join. But it starts 1:30 my time Wednesday. So I've still got about 2 hours until Emily goes live on her sprints. And so I am now getting ready to knock out my to-do list before I sit down to read. I think that's kind of my goal. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of it done in 2 hours. We will have to wait and see, but that's kind of the plan. And so with that said, my to-do, I've already painted my nails, unintentional, but it is also like unintentionally orilium, Order of the Crescent vibes. So winning for me. Speaking of orilium, that was my transition to tell you about how I've already started my to-do list, but also my reading list. So for orilium, I, the overachiever, am doing 4 callings. We don't need to go into it. But with that said, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books that I need to start and finish, 6 that I'm in the middle of and need to finish for orilium. And then there's also the quest line, which there's 3 things that I need to read. So like 8 books. I think I could probably do it. I have like a week left of the month. So it's definitely possible, depending on how I prioritize things. Are all of these books the same books that I want to prioritize? No. Are they all the same books that I have on Libby right now? No, of course not. Why would things be easy? So all I have to do today is film my unboxing for March and edit to upload for tomorrow. So that will be good for me. And then from there, I don't have anything crazy. I'm making pizza for dinner, which, will happen later. So yeah, it's kind of just like focusing on reading, which, is exciting. I also should probably knock out some laundry. So laundry, reading, filming, editing, and journaling. That's not a lot to do at all. No. So easy peasy. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Like I mentioned, I am in the process of reading. I think I'm now in the middle of like 4 or 5 books. I'm a fiend. What can I say? I'm constantly starting new books again. I have no chill, but I'm also finishing a lot of them. So some chill. But I started last night a new book. Oh, how far back should I start explaining things? Okay, we might be here for a while. Sorry, long update while I put on my makeup. So at work, I finished listening to The Absinthe Underground. I don't remember who the author is. It is such a beautiful cover. I'm so sad that I didn't love this. It's comp titles like Moulin Rouge meets Holly Jackson, and I get it. The vibes of Moulin Rouge, one of my favorite musicals, by the way. I got it, and the ending should have been different based on the comp title of Moulin Rouge. That's my opinion. But anywho, and I see like the Holly Black comparisons to like Faye, but I think Holly Black is just superior, But with that said, Absinthe Underground is about these 2 girls, friends. I don't know when this book really took place. Half of it was in a Fae world, so I just truly don't know. But it's these 2 best friends. They're in poverty. They're not living their like most best life, but they're living, all of our dream lives. Like, they live in this small apartment. One of them is obsessed with clocks and like tinkers with clocks a lot. They love their cats. They love reading, like so bookish, so cat friendly. It was just adorable. And they are 2 best friends. And this might be a friends to lover fantasy. And they might be obsessed with each other. And here's the problem. They have feelings at the start of the book for each other. They just don't tell each other. So we don't see the same type of like pining and like coming to terms with the feelings. It's more so just like, this is the way it is. And you don't get to see the like growth of it. And then they obviously end up together in the end. But it didn't feel quite as satisfying. But overall, the characters really lacked for me. One of the coolest aspects of this was that they were like poster thieves, which is how they made money. So instead of like proper thieving or whatever, they made money by stealing posters around the town and city, like in broad daylight, and it's super illegal. But you can take these posters to the curators, and depending on like the condition that you got it in and how like you took it down and stuff, and like the artist who did it, that would be the worth. And so like, but depending on those things, you'd get paid more or less. And so that's kind of what they were doing, and they get caught stealing this poster, and they're taken to the owner of the Absinthe Underground. And the Absinthe Underground is controlled by a fae or part fae who is like, lovely girls, I need people to go on a little bit of a heist for me. I need people to go get these 4 things, and then once you do this, you're free to do whatever, but I will pay you handsomely for it, and if you want to keep working with me after this, then we can discuss that. And that's basically the setup, is like, it's a heist type of story, but I don't think that it shines in the heist. Like, it was fine, but it was kind of just like so-so. I found that the concepts were rather cool, but I just didn't care a lot about the characters and their development and how they interacted with each other, but the vibes were pretty cool. I do wish the Friends to Lovers was just a little bit better, as that is like one of my favorite tropes. At least I like to pretend it is. I haven't been finding good Friends to Lovers lately, so I'm like, do I even like this? Am I the problem? That was what I read, and then I started the 3rd book in the Bridge Kingdom, finally. I was so mad, and I'm still a little mad, that it's following different characters, so I procrastinated it far longer than I should have. I was just so sad that we were following different characters that I didn't care about. The timeline is a little bit confusing as to where, like, we left off in the last book, but then, like, I started seeing, like, the merge, but just because I already know how the last one ended, I know where this one was kind of going. And I don't like these characters as much. I don't like the narrators as much. It's just not quite as fun. But I'm almost done with The Endless War, and I will probably finish it today whilst I journal. But it's following Laura's brother, Karis, and the Empress's niece, Zara. And Zara, like, gets kidnapped by Karis's family, and like they fell in love, and it's very sweet. I do like their romance. I do like them together. They are good. I just don't like them as much as Laura and Aaron. I just felt like there was more to it that like had me engaged, whereas this one I'm like, it's more political. I don't care as much, but hoping to finish that today. And then what else am I in the middle of and started? Like I mentioned earlier, I had started the Games for Dead Girls by Jen Williams, and it's fine. I'm not obsessed with it. It's not as fun as I thought I would be. I find myself just tuning out while I'm listening to the audiobook. It's not gripped me. I'm not that interested in these characters. We've got a dual timeline situation here where it's her in the past with like this secret, and like she made a monster. That's what the synopsis says, and I'm still not sure what that means. But she's scared of scarecrows, so like I'm trying to still puzzle that together. I kid you not, I'm 50% into this, but basically she is returning to this location after many, many years, and people don't seem to remember her, but she seems to have been involved in something, and my guess is that her monster is kidnapping girls and making them disappear, and I don't know if they're like killing them, eating them. I don't know what the monster is, so I don't know like what could be happening, but girls are disappearing, and she's returning to this area. It's like very coastal oceanic vibes, which I am enjoying. I like the coastal setting of just like being in this small town by the ocean. I do like that. And she's returning to, she's an author, and she wants to write about like the folklore of this area. And so she's talking to like the townspeople, but also like girls are still disappearing, and so she's kind of figuring that out or avoiding it. I'm really not sure. And then she's also got with her niece, Katie. Why Katie is there, why I remember her name, I also don't know. Katie might be the other. So the thing is that it's dual timelines. It's her and her niece in one, and then her as a kid with another girl in the other timeline. And I keep forgetting like whose names belong to who. But basically she's there with her niece. It's just like a fun little getaway. And I'm like, why is she here? This feels so out of place and weird. Like, I don't have any reason as to why she would bring her niece. Like, there hasn't, from my knowledge and memory, which is, you know, bare minimum, I don't think that her parents died in like a tragic car accident and she's now taking care of this kid. I think she's just taken this kid with her for funsies. I don't know. But it's probably going to be like a 3-star. Like, it's fine. The British narrator has taken some time to get used to as well, but it's just not something that, like, I'm super engaged in these characters and what's going on with them. I'm more interested in, like, what the heck this monster thing means, but I haven't gotten any answers to that. And so it's kind of just, you know, so-so. I like that this town has, like, this little town fair, because I like carnival-esque things in my books. And so that part has been enjoyable, because I like hearing about those are the tents, and they went into, like, this little haunted house, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. I like this. So that I will probably hopefully finish today while doing stuff. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, good on me. I'm listening to 3 audiobooks, reading 1 book in tandem, but I have not touched it in quite a while. So whenever I pick it back up, I'll talk to you guys about it. Oh, I also started Cat and Gamer. It's a cute graphic novel manga, Japanese. It's about this gamer girl who gets a cat, and it's just her learning how to take care of a cat. It's very cute, very sweet. I'm halfway through it. Recommend. I can't say anything more about it though, but I'm hoping to also finish that today. So lots of reading to do, lots of things to do, but for now I'm going to finish my makeup so that I can film, so that I can sit down to read later. Great! I finished my makeup, went a little more grunge, artsy. It matches my nails, which, you know, feels great. Oh, look at it! How cute. I hope I can save that. I think I know what these are. I think these are for Escape the Readathon. Of course, like, I don't want to mess up my nails, and so I can't actually open it. I ordered for Escape the Readathon. Kitty! Okay, anywho, saved that. Huzzah. But I ordered the Escape the Readathon. Yes, I'm on Team Film Crew yet again. I was last year. We won. It was so much fun. It was incredible. I'm already in the Discord. So I will leave Lexi's announcement video down below if you want to check it out and, like, hear more about Escape the Readathon if you're interested. But I bought their super cool bookmark, which I will for sure be using, like, all month. And then I also got a little sticker, which just says the Black Cat Carnival, which is the theme this month. Yes, next month. I purchased the last Film Crew bookmark as well. Not as good quality, I'll be honest. Like, this year is so better, which is really exciting. So now I have these to stick in my journal. Well, at least the sticker, not the bookmark, but you get it. You understand me. I don't need to keep explaining repetitively. But that's my little part 1 of a haul. Okay, 1. Aww. 2, a very belated birthday present to myself has finally arrived. I ordered this, I want to say, like, December or January, and it was like, this will be my birthday present to myself. Like, this will be the one special edition fairy loot set that I will get for myself. And I've been very good. I have not purchased very many this year, and now many months later it has arrived. So we're gonna look at them. They're always packaged so well. I do appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, so here we have the special editions for the Starless Sea and the Night Circus. So let us look at the Starless Sea first. This is Erin Morgenstern's debut. I need to reread this desperately because I listened to the audiobook with Austin only when we were, like, going on vacations. It took us about a year to finish this, or, like, many months, like, way too many months. So I definitely need a reread. But look how pretty in the back, just simple, says we are all stardust and stories. She's just so pretty. Ooh, the little, oh, cute. Yeah, no, it's one of those things, like, the vibes were good. Like, it was enjoyable, but I wasn't, like, obsessed. And then you just got the naked hardback. It's so cute. The key, the bee, and the sword. And then just plain. Oh, the spine's pretty. No reverse dust jacket art or anything. Just very simple. No end pages. Again, very simple. It is signed. That's cool. These were expensive, but not so expensive. Like, not Throne of Glass expensive, but still like in the 50s or 60s dollars range for both of them, which I think is fair. Like, I think that's an okay price. But I like that they're not so fancy I won't want to read them, you know? Like, I do have another edition of The Night Circus that, like, is a second-hand library copy. I don't mind reading that a bajillion times, but this will be the one edition of The Starless Sea that I have. And then we have The Night Circus, which I love this book. This book was so good for me. Everything about it just worked. Like, I love circuses. I love the setting of a circus and, like, the atmosphere of it. And this one just really did it. And, like, the magic and, like, this... I don't know who you are, but I'm, like, falling in love with you, but then I meet you, and, like, oh, everything's so great, magic, it's good. So, this is the front. The sides, oh my goodness. I love it so much, look at them. And then the back says, the circus arrives without warning. I love these spines. Oh, they're so pretty. And then, again, no end pages, no reverse dust jacket. Ooh. This one is red. Ah, look at that! She's so pretty. I'm obsessed. I like the spines a lot. I'm just plain on the back. And then this too is signed. Oh, I love it. Hello and good morning to you guys. It is Thursday, which means it's basically Monday. My new schedule is back to like 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, and then the weekend. And so with that said, I have like 2 Mondays and 2 Fridays a week, which is lovely and also horrid at the same time. Thursdays are usually worse than actual Mondays. Anywho, life update. It is 7:35 and I technically got up at 7. 6:50 to be more precise. But I have been doing well lately, which is hilarious because I do think my mental health is trying to topple me down, trying to crumble, trying to go, and I'm preventing it. I'm ignoring it, and the first thing that I've started to do to ignore it is genuinely to, hello, can you sit so I can talk to my friends? Anywho, the way that I'm like single-handedly combating it is just forcing myself to not sleep in, because my new schedule has me going into the office an hour later than I used to. And so I get like an extra hour of like fun time to do stuff, which is so great for me. So I've got like a morning routine set up. I've got just everything that I'm wanting slowly making its way. Yesterday I worked out for the first time in a very long time. I'm getting back into the habit of like joining Austin as he walks the dogs. Yeah, so just like behind the scenes, a lot of little lifestyle things are changing for me, and I'm really proud of myself and happy. So that's what's going on. Non-bookish. Bookish? Oh boy. Let me tell you. I need to read Night Watching for the Literally Dead Book Club, which is Saturday. And then I need to listen to Mary by Ned Cassidy for the 4Bs book club hosted by the Library Dweller, because Aaliyah has hers on Sunday. So I gotta be there for that too, of course, because I hung out in her sprints and then they convinced me and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna read Mary. So those 3 audiobooks today/tomorrow, and then tomorrow high priority at 5 p.m. my Pacific Standard Time. Ashley's Little Library has horrorathon, and the book club buddy read is Ring Shout, which I've been meaning to read for like 2 years or whatever. Like I keep saying I want to read it and I'll get to it, and then I just kind of keep pushing it off. So I will be listening to Ring Shout tomorrow at work. So that's the tentative, large, and in charge spooky TBR for this like random 2 days. And then I think in the evenings when I'm home and just wanting to read something besides the horror, I'm gonna finish Delicious Monsters. Wow, imagine using a bookmark. I want to say like 136. Is that a chapter? Yes, I'm on page 137. I'm surprised I remembered. Goodreads, I guess, is my tracker. And so, I'm this far. We've got dual timelines in this, where we've got this young girl who's had some issues in their old home. So they move when the mom's uncle passes away. So her great uncle, I don't know how family trees work. They go to this spooky little manor and they're fixing it up to like rent it. And it's also like their escape from their day-to-day lives because she's just having a harder time as a kid. She can also see ghosts. So yeah, I would say I probably wouldn't want to be in the city for the most part. So that's one timeline, is just her helping fix up this garden for the house and not being allowed in the house, not knowing why, not really knowing much about her mom's past in childhood. We do know that the mom was basically raised by this uncle and his wife, I think, or no, her sister's married to him. And I think, I don't know, man. I don't know the family tree. But just know, past timeline is much better than the current timeline, which is following Brittany. And Brittany is like a YouTuber, has like a spooky YouTube channel that's picked up by a bigger like network or something, thriving in her career. And she really wants to investigate Daisy and Daisy's mom, because Daisy has gone missing. And she's like, well, let's look for this. But everyone's like, nobody cares about missing Black girls. Your show's gonna bomb. We're not gonna support it. Blah. And so she's investigating Daisy's story based off like what they actually know, and then trying to like discover the actual truth of it all, because it somehow relates to her mom, and she's got mommy issues for sure. And so that's kind of the gist of it. I don't adore Brittany's chapters because I just don't really care, but I like Daisy's chapters a lot. Like, we get to meet the neighbors of the neighborhood, and they're like not quite witches, that's the incorrect term, but they're psychic. They do readings and stuff and tarot, which I think is just fun. Again, she like sees dead people, and I just want that to be explored more. So I'm enjoying Daisy's chapter more, but I have genuinely not felt an urge to pick this up or reached for it in like a week or two. So it's definitely been a slower read for me. I've been kind of going back and forth between just listening to the audiobook and listening while I'm reading along, but I figured since part of my new routine is going to bed, being in bed at 9 o'clock, I'm going to use that like hour before I go to bed just to read. So hopefully I will make significant progress in this in the coming days. We will have to see though. I might listen to a little bit of the audiobook if I need to tomorrow at work or something, but for now, that's kind of where we're at, which is hilarious because I'm in not quite the thriller horror mood, but that's what I'm gravitating towards. I'm still listening to Games for Dead Girls, which I will finish hopefully today as well. So there's just like a lot of spooky times happening. And then the weekend will come back, and I've got a fun video I'm hoping to film Saturday separate to this vlog. And then just like pounding out fantasy again. So hopefully I will accomplish a lot of reading and get orilium done. I've checked off Bookemon. I'm pretty solid there. Yeah, and I'm prepared for next month's readathons, which is fun. So that's where I am at. I will see you guys after work probably, when I've got reading updates of whatever the heck I've read. I haven't quite decided like solid what I want to pick up. I'm kind of leaning towards night watching just because I want to make sure I finish it, but it depends on how long the audiobook is. But I hear it's suspense. People have been, mostly good reviews have come in. Kayla said that something happened that was quite surprising. I have a friend who's been listening or reading it on Goodreads, and she's like, ew, what is this man doing? I'm so scared at the beginning, so I'm pretty excited and eager. So I might start with that. We will have to wait and see what I decide when I get to the office, but I'll see you guys later. Okay, hi, hello. It is significant later. I will be honest. Sorry for the fan if it's loud, and it is 8 p.m. I've been home for like 2 hours. I have been so tired today though. I literally was just sitting on the couch just watching YouTube. Like, I just needed to not do anything for a little bit, but I also really need to talk about Mary. But before that, let me back up and tell you that I finished The Inadequate Heir by Daniel L. Jensen, which is the third book in the Bridge Kingdom series, but it follows a different couple. It's following Karis and Zara. I don't remember anymore. And like, they're cute. I like them as a couple. I really enjoyed the ending of this, but I just didn't care. It's a lot more politically war heavy, and I was like, I'm just not into it. But how it ended has me interested to pick up the Endless War next year. So that's like a 3.5. Prefer the first two far more. And then I also finished Games for Dead Girls, which apparently there's 3 timelines. I read some Goodreads reviews to make me feel a little bit better about my reading experience. And basically, a lot of people felt the same way, where like it just wasn't, the beginning was just not done super well, and so there wasn't a lot to connect to with the characters, and it didn't feel like these 3 timelines made any sense. And so when we actually like got to the point where they collided and it got interesting, most people would be checked out, and I was definitely of that group. Like, I was very checked out. I didn't care about these characters or what was going to happen. And even though like I found it entertaining and I was semi-invested, I just didn't care, and I just wanted to like it and was like trying to bring my intrigue back and be like, oh, look at this is kind of cool and neat, but I just couldn't care. And so it was a little bit of a letdown. It was just like a flat 3-star. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't fun and entertaining like thrillers should be. So with that said, Mary, oh my god, I think 62% through Mary by Net Cassidy. And I'm gonna be honest, I know the girls in like the sphere of people that I watch really loved this book and really enjoy Nestlings too. And I have more of an interest in Nestlings than Mary. Mary, just like, when people are like, it's a Carrie reimagining, retelling, but if Carrie was a menopausal 50-year-old woman, and that just didn't sound good to my 25-year-old soul. Like, I was like, no, I don't relate to that. That's not interesting to me. I don't typically lean towards adult books that are catered to an older audience. Like, I just didn't really have an interest, and I didn't hear a lot about the actual plot. I just knew people loved it. And so I also knew that Nat Cassidy is a man who wrote a female protagonist, and people really appreciated what was said and could relate to it and thought that it was well done. And I do agree with that point. So going in to Mary with very little expectations, except for what Leah and Richie were saying in the Library Dwellers reading sprints. Besides what they were saying, I had no real expectations for what this is. And going into it, I still don't know where it's going to go. It's not gone at all where I thought it would. I didn't know anything. I truly just knew that we would be following Mary, who was going to be going through menopause. And that was it. That's truly it. And it's not something like I want to tell you a lot about in case you haven't picked it up or you're interested in it. But I will say that we're following Mary, who's lived in New York City at a bookstore and just is very much living her day-to-day, like doesn't have a social circle, family, friends, like isn't super involved in anything, just works her job to make enough to make ends meet, and then doesn't do a whole lot, doesn't have a lot going on, and is eventually, and honestly, the beginning was so good. The author's note was so good, but it was just the way that she gets plucked out of her little New York life to go back to help her aunt, who just needs like a caretaker basically. And that's the setup, is discovering this town. There's a plot line of things that happened like 50 years ago, before she was born, as well as things happening as she was growing up. And so you're learning a lot, but it's mostly just Mary. And I like Mary as a character. She's very interesting. There's a lot that just embodies the female experience, female rage, the just emotions we have when Mary's talking about women just always being very aware of their bodies at all times, because we're constantly being perceived and being objectified. And it's just like, I feel this. I feel it so hard. And it's just weirdly relatable, even though I'm not a 50-year-old woman going through menopause. And just like the conversations around aging, oh boy, do I relate to those to a scary point. But also, this has some eerie, unsettling scenes. It's a little spooky. It makes you go a little like, I don't like this, whilst at the same time making me laugh out loud at the office, like covering my mouth laughing. It was so, there's been such funny parts. I love the aunt as a character. She is hilarious. It is wild. And I'm enjoying this so much more than I thought I would. At first I was like, this is for sure not going to be a 5-star, and now I'm sitting here like, maybe this could be a 5-star. I will have to listen to the last 40%. I've got like maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think. I'm listening at 2.5, which is slower for me. I'm usually 2.753 depending, and I've slowed this one down because I really want to take it in and understand things. I'm just enjoying it more than I thought I would, and depending on how it ends, it could be a 5-star because it's just interesting. I'm already recommending it to my coworker. I've already recommended it to my mom. I'm just like, everybody that I know needs to read this. If that's what I've been reading, and I'm interested. I'm so excited to see where it's going to go from here. Every time I think I know what's going to happen and where it's going, I literally said in my like 55% Goodreads update, I was like, I'm either a genius and I know where this is going, or because there's still half of this book left, it's going to just throw me through a loop, and I'm being thrown through a loop. I think that I know something, but like the math wasn't mathing, and I was like, okay, that can't be it. But then like shortly after, they were like, this is what we think is happening, and I'm like, this is wild and outlandish and not what I thought this was going to be. So I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I've told Eliza that she should probably pick it up. Honestly, I think Daphne could even pick it up. I think it's just a nice book. So that's been my reading update. I'm now in bed, and I might try to read a little bit of this because I got like 2 hours before I pass out, but truly I might fall asleep sooner. So I might try and read a little bit more of Delicious Monsters before I actually pass out. But that's my evening. Hello, I just got home from filming Independent Bookstore Day. I'm so tired, and we're just gonna read tonight, probably all day tomorrow. But that's my plans. Also, side note, I purchased these recently, but not quite today, on Amazon. Sorry, but I've purchased these because I will link the video below if I can find it. But I watched a Holly Jackson Cruel Prince like recap of the series of somebody who clearly loves it, and it just really made me excited to continue. And now that like I remember everything so vividly, play by play, because she goes through the whole plot, I'm ready for these. And so I'm gonna read them hopefully soon, and then watch her continue uploading her little deep dives. I freaking love deep dive, guys. Also, there's a snake on the cover, which is great for a Pokemon prompt that I need. Hi, Nerfin. So these are the 2 books that I have recently purchased just for funsies to get to. So hey y'all, my arms literally hurt. I'm in so much pain from shopping yesterday and carrying heavy books. I'm uploading my indie book crawl vlog now for viewing purposes. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I wanted to update. Part of the reason why I'm so tired is not just because I did an indie book crawl and nearly walked 10,000 steps downtown Eugene, Oregon. It's cool. I also stayed up until 1:30 in the morning, binging, finishing, and reading The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I love this book. I love this book. This book was great. I'm giving it a 4-star. It's not quite the 5-star feels, but it did also make me cry. I think I'm just in like a 5-star rut of like things getting close, but just not giving me that feeling, that spark, that joy, which I think might at this point be me. I don't know what this could have done to get there to make this more of a 5-star. I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed this. This is the Fairy Loot special edition. Magpie Publishing. Don't know who they are, but I love this I love this cover. Her hair color is not strawberry blonde though. That's just like full fucking pink. So I don't know who we're trying to fool here, but if I saw a girl with this colored hair, I too would just be like, yeah, that's definitely a witch. But what is the premise of this book, you ask? Great question. This is a book following a witch and a witch hunter who court one another and maybe kind of fall in love. Ooh. So basically, she, a witch, is the Crimson Moth. Her name is Rune. I adore her. She's great. She's got dumb main character energy syndrome for sure, but I still really like her. I think she was fun. I think she was quirky and cute. I enjoyed her relationships with her best friends. Like, I just loved seeing close friend dynamics. Also, like, best friend's brother trope. So funny in fantasy saying those kinds of things. It's not really fake dating. It's supposed to be set in the Victorian era. I didn't quite feel the setting, and maybe that's where it was lacking, was just the atmosphere of the book. I wasn't quite grasping onto as well. But overall, I really like them. She is a witch. By day, she's an aristocrat debutante, rich girl living off her grandma's inheritance. And by night, she is the Crimson Moth, rescuing witches that have been captured and releasing them. They live in the New Republic, which has banned all witches. All witches are literally like sentenced to death on the spot. Symphonies, sympathizers to witches also are punished by death. And so we are following her as she's navigating this world a little bit, being a little bit of like a spy by day, you know, getting the inside tea so that she could rescue these witches. And then on the other hand, oh, we've got Mr. Gideon. Gideon fucking Sharp. Hello, Gideon. He is nice. I like Gideon so much. Big fan. He is like top of the guard. He is witch hunter extraordinaire. He hates the Crimson Moth. It is his life vendetta to find this woman who keeps her little Crimson Moth signature and keeps taking these witches out from under his nose in plain sight. Can't figure out who she is, but he gets a lead that it might have some type of relation to Rune. Rune might somehow either be a witch or be cohorting with the witches. And so he fake dates her a little bit, fake courts her a little bit to get some questions answered. And it's sweet. It's charming. I really enjoyed them together. They were so nice. I loved it. I also just really enjoyed all of the characters, like the side characters, the twists, the plots. Like, it's not like so surprising. You absolutely won't see them coming, but the way that it's laid down really played out well, and I was surprised at some parts, and I was pleasantly surprised by some parts, and just like I enjoyed where the book had gone. I It's always a thing with like fantasy that has romance in it, fantasy romance, whatever term you prefer. It's one of those things of these characters hate each other. Like, it doesn't end good for them, of course, because this is a duology, so you know, like, things have to go wrong before they can go good again. But every time I read a book like this, I'm like, how are they going to get back together in the second book? Like, how is that going to be possible? I just can't see it, but I want it so desperately bad. And so waiting a year to read this is going to be tough, but I'm very excited nonetheless for whenever the sequel comes out. This was a delight. This was a treat. I'm so happy. I will now be continuing my reading journey this Sunday. It's 12, almost 12:15, and I've finished my video. So now I can just like lay back and read. I'm hoping to read. It's on my shelf right now. And there's currently a cat in my lap, so I will not be disrupting her and moving. But I have a few things that I would like to read. I don't know how much realistically I can read in one singular day and sitting, but it's noon, which means that I could feasibly read 2
and a half, maybe 3, who knows? But I have to decide what I want to pick up. And one of the things that I'm picking up, I think, will be The City of Stardust, which I know nothing about. I can't tell you anything except for I have a Fairy Loot edition, I think, and it's beautiful. And XoJo loved it on her Bookstagram story. She was like, "This is the book," and I said, "Say less." I've had the book on hold with Libby for a while, so it's finally time. And I think I'm gonna just continue my fantasy romance mood for the day. The City of Stardust is also a standalone, which I desperately need some standalones because goodness grief, I've started so many series this year. It's bad. So that's my little update and check in for you. I will see you guys later at some point. I will try to keep you actively involved in my readings today, but Austin and I were just like reading by the fire, and I was like listening to my audiobook and reading, and I didn't really want to like disturb him by talking about my book while he's like actively trying to read with his brain and eyeballs. So that's why I did not say anything to you guys yesterday, but today I will. I promise. Great. So I realized that I have not given a couple reviews from Friday at work. I finished Mary by Nat Cassidy, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5-star like I was hoping it would be. I definitely preferred the first half over the second half. It went in a direction that I was fully not expecting it to go in, and it was just a little bizarre, but not in like the most fun, kooky of ways. It was just like, why have we made this decision? I think that the author's note at the beginning and like the end were really fun, and I really liked hearing from Nat Cassidy. I think he's an author that I will continue checking out. I again still have higher hopes for Nestlings. I almost actually bought it yesterday, but decided to not finish. Figured I would listen to the audiobook first just because Mary just went in such a strange direction. And then the ending just kind of lost me. I was just kind of bored by the end. Hey, would you stop it? I was just a little bit bored at the end. I just didn't care what would happen. I don't know if it was maybe just the book was too long, but I just was like about it in the ending. But I'm really excited to discuss it May 5th in the comments of the Library Dwellers Book Club discussion with Aaliyah and Richie. So that's my little Mary conclusion. And then after Mary, I read or listened to in its entirety Night Watching by Tracy something for the Lily Dead Book Club. And this, I will say, if you're interested, definitely check it out because I think it has more 4 and 5-star reviews than anything else. And it was a bit rare to see people not actually loving this. But I'm in the group of like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Really, it is at its core a home invasion suspense novel that leans literary. It's about this woman and her 2 kids hiding while somebody has broken into their house, and you're seeing the present timeline of that happening. And then you're also getting flashbacks to her relationship with her husband. We don't know where, like, we kind of know what happens to him, but he's not in the picture anymore. And so we see like past timeline that's kind of leading up towards this event and getting just kind of insight to these characters. And then from there, we have like the aftermath of the book, which you still have some before and after. And I felt a lot of rage in the after parts. Like that made me feel a lot of emotions. But the suspense in the home invasion would be constantly broken up because we'd flash back to a previous chapter. And because I never once felt connected to these unnamed characters, I did not care. I didn't agree with all the decisions made. I just didn't think it was that captivating. But I enjoyed the writing for the most part. I think that it was interesting and I can understand what the author was doing, and like the intent was clear and executed. But this was a book where the author said, I want to write about gaslighting, and it just was blown to the highest of proportions, especially in the second half.
And I was just like, I get it. So if you don't like gaslighting in your books, I don't recommend it, because that is the entire second half. And it was fine. I felt rage. Don't talk to a cop without a lawyer present. That's just like, don't be stupid. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. But I just overall was like, about it. Like, I didn't connect to the characters. I didn't care what happened. I knew nothing bad was really going to happen. So I was just like there for the ride. It definitely had that like true crime based on a true story documentary feel to it, which if you're into that, then you might enjoy this as well. But for me, it was just kind of eh. And then finally, for horrorathon, I listened to Ring Shout, which I don't know if listening to the audiobook was fully my best option, because I liked it. I think the narrator, I think it was Bonnie Turpin, which the girls on BookTube love Bonnie Turpin. I think this might have been my first audiobook from her. She does a fantastic job. The audiobook is really good. She narrates it so well. It's giving performance. I had a hard time, and I didn't really get into the story until about like the 40% mark, because I loved these women. I thought they were so cool. But this is definitely like action, monster, apocalyptic almost kind of feel, which is not my thing. That's not my style, genre, vibe, typically. And also, P. Djeli Clark is just not an author that I have rated super highly and have like really been into his works yet. So I don't know if it's just I haven't found the right one, or if his writing style just doesn't click for me. But I loved the premise, the concept of this book, and again, I loved the 3 women characters so much, but I felt no emotion about anyone or anything. It, again, was more like action heavy. I think because I was listening to the audiobook, it was a little bit easier for me to check out, and so I wasn't getting the full effect of this story. I think if I had been physically reading along, I would have gotten a little bit more out of the story. But it's like a 4-star, 3.5. Like, it's a high 3 because the concept was good, the execution was good, it's short, it packs a punch, it does what it set out to do. Like, it is good. It just wasn't my favorite because, again, me in action. It's similar like to Razorblade Tears. Like, I really didn't like that book. Action in my horror thrillers that make me think of my boyfriend playing zombie video games just isn't for me. It's just not my thing. So those are my little updates for what I read Friday. Good morning. Yesterday I made progress over halfway. Not too bad. I made it to chapter 32 of The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. And I didn't know what to expect when I went into this, so I went from like, oh, is this a Peter Pan retelling, to, oh, I don't know what this is or what's going on anymore whatsoever at all. But in this, basically, we are following Violet Everly. She was a sheltered child growing up and was raised by her uncle and like homeschooled, didn't have friends, no contact to the outside world. Her mom has left on an adventure and we haven't seen her since, and she doesn't really know anything besides that. And sometimes her other uncle will like stop in and hang out for a little bit and then dip again, and he seems to be looking for her mom, but she doesn't know anything about the world her family is involved in. And eventually her identity gets found out, and this woman Penelope learns of her existence, and that's when the story slowly starts picking up. I promise you, this book does not start until maybe part 2, and it's still like nothing has happened in this so far. Like, a lot has gone on. She's talked to a lot of people, she's questing, she's adventuring, she is trying to get answers to her questions and trying to find clues, but like truly nothing has happened. When she's a young girl, she meets this woman Penelope and her assistant Alexander, and this is her introduction to maybe magic. It's not called magic, but it's basically magic. And then she turns 21, part 2 starts, and she's going to find her mom and therefore hoping to break the curse. If she doesn't break the curse, Penelope's basically gonna kill her and torture her. Normal things. Yeah. But
Yeah, so she's just trying to find her mom, and as she's looking for her mom, we are learning more about this group called the Scholars, who have this secret knowledge and just this other parts to the world of there being like portal magic, kind of like there's keys that can open to doors that can take you to different realms or worlds or something. And her mom is on pursuit for the city of Stardust, which is known to be like the land of the gods and hasn't been found in so long, and so like it's gonna be revolutionary, but also Penelope doesn't want this to happen, so she's your big bad. She's actively like, nobody can help the Everleys. If you help the Everleys, the punishment for the crime is death. Like it's a lot. It's a little bizarre, it's a little wild. And so that's basically what has happened. And this is written very similar and reminds me a lot of the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So if you like the Starless Sea a lot, you might enjoy this, and vice versa. Very different, like tonally, and like this is more fantasy feeling, but both have like just that style and vibe to it that kind of make you feel disconnected, but there's whimsy, and I don't love it. I'm not loving it. I can see a lot of beauty. I think the writing is fine, but the writing style doesn't work for me. It's very third person, head bouncing. Like you'll have a page and a half with Violet, and then like a small little paragraph break, and then we're following Alexander, and then we're following somebody else that doesn't matter, and like we're just seeing so many different POVs all the time that I'm like, I don't care. I know this is about Violet, and I don't care about her. I don't care about her family. I like her and Alexander's friendship, but like also I don't. This book doesn't make me feel a whole lot. I think I felt like two emotions while reading this. I'm just a little bored. I'm probably gonna just finish the audiobook today at work. I felt myself while reading physically, which doesn't really happen often, but I felt myself while I was physically reading along, getting distracted, finding other things to pique my interest, like paying attention to the dog while I just listen to the audiobook and like skip a few pages, go fix the fire and just listen to the audiobook, because I don't care. So I'm a little disappointed, but I'm happy to be reading, books off my shelf at least. It is still beautiful. Depending on how it ends will probably determine the rating, but it's sitting at like a 3-star right now. Like it's just fine. But, oh, it's pouring outside. But I have to go to work, so I will finish this and then probably something else, hopefully at the office, and then I will be home to check in with you, I'm sure. But that's where I'm at with this, at least. Not loving it. So I ended up finishing The City of Stardust, and it's a very low 3-star. It just was not quite the story for me. Again, I think if you enjoyed the Starless Sea, different kind of vibes, but still similar enough that I think you could enjoy this. I just didn't care about these characters. The way that ended, I was like, good riddance. I was not able to focus and concentrate as much. I just wasn't engaged in this. So 3 stars, happy I read it off my shelves, can say I did it. So I've finished Delicious Monsters. I finished this today at work, and once I let go of the like wanting to physically read this big book, tandem read it, once I let that go and just let myself listen to the audiobook, the experience was only so much better. So I think I've already told you guys what this is about, but my final thoughts are, I like where it went, but I wasn't expecting the story to be about what it was, which I thought was kind of nice. I still preferred Daisy's chapters over Brittany, but I really liked Brittany giving like a different glimpse on what was going on. Hi, baby. I did enjoy this. I'm giving it 4 stars, but like 3.75, which I don't really usually do, but I've started using Storygraph more this year alongside Goodreads, and so it makes me like reflect on like, oh, I can be a little more precise with my ratings. So 3.75, 4-star. I really like this. I like these characters. I liked the horror elements. Could have had a little bit more, I'll be honest. I like the side characters. I wish this was a bit more of like a house story, but again, it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting where it was going to go. I'm happy I read this finally. She's chunky. And in May, I will be reading Tender Beast by the same author, which I'm excited about. So the final thing that I finished today at work was very short poetry. It's The Moon That Turns You Back by
Alayan, I think. I'm sorry, I don't own it. I wish I did. It's very short. The author narrates the poems. I wish that I did have it physically, because one of the cool things she does is, like, you pick the words, kind of like a Mad Libs, but poetry. Compared to the recent poetry I've read, this was miles more enjoyable, and I like that she narrated so I could hear like her tone and how she was feeling, especially because a lot of the latter half of the book deals with her fertility treatments, like the process that she was going through, which I don't relate to, and I don't really care or want to read that necessarily, but at the same time, like, it's good experience in life. Hi.
What up?
How's it going? But overall, minus the fertility stuff that I didn't necessarily like, but also good to hear, because empathy and people's experiences, it's important stuff to know, even if it's not like my journey. Overall, I think I'm giving it 4 stars. I really can't critique poetry. Like, I don't know enough, I don't read enough, but I like them, and so that's what mattered. I think my rating was literally just, I can't critique poetry, but this was good. Cool. So orilium is happening. It is April 29th. We have 2 days, not even 2 full days anymore, and I have 3 prompts left for my callings, and then I have like the quest, which I'll focus on next month. So I'm gonna finish this. This is so embarrassing. So hi, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for watching and hanging out. This is Scythe by Neil Schusterman, and I am on chapter 25, page 252, and I've been reading this since April 24th, 2022. I don't want to think about it. It's good. I like it. It's a very quick read. It's enjoyable, but I just, for whatever reason, like, I don't feel the need to pick it up. It's gotten to like a little bit of a lull, and I was just like, I don't know. But like, my boyfriend and his friend, our friend, loves this, and so I'm like, I want to finish this, and it's an Aquarius recommendation, because, you know, I want to finish this tonight. I have 183 pages left, so I'm just going to try to pound this out today so that I can focus on tomorrow at work listening to Girls with Sharp Sticks for my other Aquarius recommendation, and then also Inkblood Sister Scribe, which I don't remember which class that's for, but I have the physical book and the audiobook, so I'm going to pound those out tomorrow. I'm just like in such a reading mood that I'm like thriving. I planned out my May reads. Oh, goodness grief. But this is my plan for tonight, just trying to finish this. And that's my race. Gotta go. Alright, hello. I've done my makeup for the day. Now my hair. And I figured this was a good time to chat about my recent reads. So I have been making my... No, I started and finished yesterday. Oh my god. I read Girls with Sharp Sticks. Suzanne Young is the author. Incredible. Oh my god. It wasn't quite a 5-star. I think just something about it was maybe lacking. Could just be because it was like a YA sci-fi dystopian thriller. And oh boy, did it have me angry. But besides that, I didn't feel emotionally distraught by any of like the outcomes or things that would happen. Like, I was just kind of there for the ride, and then like the outrage, the feminist rage, it was really good though. I highly recommend this. Honestly, this is like one of those books that like I could see be a more mandatory read in like middle school, high school, because it's just interesting. It's good. The whole premise is basically we are following this girl who is at an all-girl school, very secluded, very, like, apart from the rest of the world. They just live their day-to-day life of perfecting themselves through routine and teachings to prepare themselves for whatever is going to be next in life, to teach them to be, like, the most prim and proper of the girls. And, you know, as a science fiction dystopian thriller, it goes horribly wrong. Secrets get spilled. We figure out what's really going on. I swear to God, there's a Netflix show that I watched that is based off this book, and I tried Googling it for Eliza, and I cannot for the life of me find it. So that might be another thing that I try to do and venture out into. I swear it was based off the book, because that's what kind of put the book on my radar. I was like, wow, this sounds really interesting. And now I can't seem to find it. So my hair is doing it the most. And so the book really kicks off with her meeting this guy, Jackson, when, like, they're on a field trip to something, and she stops at a gas station because she has, like, a big sweet tooth for candy. So they stop at a gas station, she buys some candy, she meets this guy, bada bing, bada boom. He starts asking questions, and he's kind of infatuated with her. He's a little obsessed, but he's respectable, and it's cute. And hi, you're also cute. And just, like, where it went, I was expecting some of it, and some of it still surprised me. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting and fun. I'll definitely continue with the series. I just don't know priority-wise when I'll actually get to it. So, those are my little updates. Now I'm gonna film my TBR. Okay, so, turns out, once I imported all of the footage that I've been collecting for this vlog, which I want to say, let's look, that was like 2 weeks ago. So this is a 2-week long vlog, and I kid you not, I've got 2 hours of footage, which I'm not going to put you through. I've done that already. You've seen a 2-hour video from me like 2 weeks ago. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be kind to you guys. You're welcome. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to try to edit the fuck out of that video and make it as small as I possibly can. So I've got my work cut out. I'm going to end this video here, which is great because I'll just update you on whatever book is next. I think I finished. I'm not really in the middle of a book besides the Har and Scythe, which, you know, we don't need to talk about Scythe anyway. And so we will continue this vlog into May, starting May 1st with our first book. So that'll be great. It'll be a good fresh start. It'll be lovely. I'll see you guys then. But thanks for watching. Go team film crew. I hope you had a good time with the magical readathon at Orilium. I basically completed all of my 4 callings. Let's go. Goodbye.